Hi there, welcome to Homekeepers. Come right on in, my friend. I'm so glad to be here with you today. Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day and that you're enjoying the goodness and the blessing of the Lord. The Bible says that He gives us those good things and He adds no sorrow to it. So, it's great to be a Christian, isn't it? Great to know Jesus. We have Dr. David Clarke back today. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this man. He is a psychologist, and he deals mostly really with marriage problems, and we are blessed to have him on once a month here. And I know from my own life experience, and a lot of things have gone on in my life. If I just named them all, you would know what I'm talking about. But I did learn this very young. At a very young age, I learned that maybe just a sentence or just a conversation with someone or something I didn't know and somebody put a light on it changed everything, just everything at the moment. This is what a good psychologist can do. And he is rock solid theologically. I've never met anybody in this field who is as rock solid as he is. And so I feel that we are blessed to be able to bring him to you. Now, what he's talking about today, 5 steps, this progression of 5 steps to a divorce. There's no doubt in my mind, I'm talking to people right now that have got a lot of marriage problems. You need to hear what he has to say. And we have a bit of a rebellion going on in the studio right now. I chose an olive cheese dip. Oh, they come bubbling out of the oven. They are wonderful. But there are some people here who do not like olives, and they have a very strong opinion, and I'm just a little bit concerned about the program, so hang with me. Before I join Stephanie, though, and she's one of them in rebellion, by the way, I want to again offer you the Love Bracelet. It's got some words from 1 Corinthians 13th chapter on it, and the information is on your screen. If you want to use your 800 number for your credit card, that's there. Also the address. And if you would like to order one, we just have just a few left. I probably will not offer it again. So go ahead and get your order in now. And now I'm joining Stephanie, who is in a very bad mood.
I'm not in a bad mood at all. Not one bit. I'm just going to smile through this entire cooking segment. That's all I'm going to do is be crazy smiling.
She's so transparent. We can tell, though, when she's faking it. Okay, you're starting out there with
so I have a block of cream cheese that's softened. What you looking for?
I was just looking at the finished product.
I have a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise.
As nearly as I can tell, in this studio, it's 50-50.
Yes, you're right.
But the emotion is so high.
But the people who hate it so much more than the people who like it. I will tell you that right now. In fact, our cameraman said olives are evil. So
And Brooke doesn't like it?
No. And then we have 2 cups of Monterey Jack cheese.
So what do you have against olives?
I don't like the taste. I don't the smell of them. I'm not a fan. But if you like olives, I'll tell you what, this looks good.
Yeah.
I just am not a fan. Okay, so we have some red chili flakes. I'll just put, I know you're not a fan of those, so I'll just put half of those. How about some garlic? Thank you. Did it come out?
Can I use my fingers?
Yes, sure show. You can do whatever you want.
Wouldn't it be interesting to watch our viewers who cook, you know, how we all use our fingers?
And we're
stick them in our mouth.
Okay, go for it.
All right. These are the... Here we go. Here's the red olive. I'll bet she won't even try it. See, that's how close her mind is.
I didn't even smell them. That's the green olives, and there's the black olives here.
Mix it up good, honey. And then you want to bake it 15, 20 minutes, but you want it to bubble.
You know, it's just one of those things. I can't help it. I would like to just smile through this whole thing and say, that's good, but
no,
I can't.
We love you because you're so honest. So,
but again, if you like olives, this looks amazing.
This is your dish for sure.
So then you just put it into a baking dish, and you bake it for what, 15 minutes, 20 minutes at 350.
Well, I say you want it.
Look at that. It's gorgeous.
I say you want it to bubble.
Yeah, you want it to bubble.
Yeah.
And
I assume you're not going to taste it, so.
You assume.
Okay, now we know what she doesn't like. She doesn't like green peppers.
And it's not about me, so it's okay. It's your show. That's all that matters, is if you like it.
If you'll excuse me, though, I'm not going to try because it's real hot. Okay. I did taste it before.
She ate it this morning when I was making the first one.
Yeah. All I can say is it's delicious.
I mean, look, it's gorgeous. And again, it's cheese. And then if you like olives,
it does have, it's just a real strong olive taste if you like it, because it's got both kinds. It's got a lot in it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely delicious if you like it. So we will be glad to share this recipe, right?
Sure.
I had to baby her because on the next show I put on the recipe Stephanie's choice.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So,
she
is my choice.
She picked this. This was her choice, and then the next one has pumpkin in it.
We're totally democratic around here. So. Anyway, the information's coming up on your screen. Email is the best way to get it, but also you'll learn other ways to get it if you don't do email.
Can I say one more thing before you go?
Yes, you can.
Congratulations are in order here at the CTN family. Our very own floor director, Brooke
come here, Brooke.
Got engaged. She got engaged to another co-worker, Matt Rathmel.
I know it.
They got engaged over the weekend. It's so exciting. We're so happy. Like, they brought the CTN up a level this last weekend. You know, yay, love.
More than I told her, said we're living our life vicariously through you.
So every time I see her, I'm like, okay, what's new? What do I need to do? What's happening? What can we do?
Okay, I've just got to say that Brooke is one of the nicest people you will ever meet in your whole life. And so is Matthew, who is a camera guy here.
Yes.
So,
yes,
congratulations.
It's so exciting. Congratulations. We're excited for you.
Bringing
and again,
some joy to this place.
I just need to know what kind of dress I should buy. No.
Yeah. We're all going to give her a lot of good ideas on the wedding, but we're very happy for you.
Congratulations.
All right. Information's coming up on the screen for the recipe. If you'd like to have it, you'll see that email is fastest way, but all that information will be there. And right after that, if you haven't met Dr. Clarke, you need to, and I think you'll love him.
If you would like a copy of today's recipe, you may receive it by contacting us through social media as listed on the screen. When requesting a copy through the mail, be sure to include a self-addressed stamped envelope. Thank you, and please know we always appreciate hearing from our viewers.
Welcome back, Dr. Clarke.
Good to be back.
Still working on your book, I Don't Want a Divorce. And what a title. There's a lot of people who really kind of identify with it.
Oh yeah, it resonates. If you don't want a divorce, you're desperate for a plan to not get divorced.
And this has a plan. That's a good one.
I always have a plan. Yes, I do.
I want to recap some of last month because you talked about the progressive breakdown of a marriage, and this is some of them, that the hormone-driven passion's gone about 18 months. Sorry about that. But that's a solid statistic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Male and female differences begin to annoy you. Then a couple of children kind of distract you from the union.
Yep.
And romance and affection down, and sex infrequent. And last thing we were talking about, avoiding conflicts by avoiding each other. And you say, this is where I want to get to, this happens in 99.9% of all marriages.
It does. I've seen it over and over in 31 years of working with couples. Yep. It's just like clockwork.
And you know, the sad thing is there's probably a lot of really good people out there that don't even think of the D word. I heard Dr. Phil say that once. He says the word divorce has never been in our vocabulary. I think he's been married 35, 40 years.
I think he's a good man, and you know what? We're the same way. It would never come up.
Yeah. The D word is nowhere.
Other words have.
Yeah.
Not swear words, but difficult words. You're driving me nuts. That has been, or crazy. That's
but not divorce.
No, we're not going there.
Well, that's good. But 99%, so what I started to say, all the good people out there who are going to stick with the vows, but they've never tapped into what it could be.
Right.
They go through these predictable stages, but they don't know they can be corrected.
Yeah, God doesn't want okay. He wants fantastic. You can have it. Now you got to work for it, following His principles. But yeah, that doesn't glorify God to be bumping along and not getting divorced. I mean, He likes that. But he wants a lot more than that for you.
Don't you think there's a lot of those sitting in our churches that are just bumping along, as you say?
Yeah, they look great on Sunday. What a great family. And they're really not that happy.
Yeah.
The kids are a buffer. If I've heard once, I've heard a million times. Once Johnny gets through high school, we're done.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And then when that happens, and you don't have a marriage, and the buffer's gone, and there's no kid to focus on, and it's just you and me, oh, I don't like you very much. And what do we have in common? And, you know,
well, have you had them come to you like that when Johnny's gone?
Well, they'll tell me that in confidence, and I say, baloney. You show me in the Bible as a Christian where that's acceptable. No, let's start working on your marriage right now. But they've already decided in many cases. Whoa, that's wrong, it's sinful.
Okay, let's say if it's really striking a chord with some female viewer, if she begins to make some changes and some overtures to correct this, she better be consistent.
Yeah, right. Don't just start and stop.
Yeah.
It'll take the guy a while to come around. Men don't just snap to it that quickly.
Yeah, and they might be testing her.
Right. Oh, yeah. So very often the woman does lead the way. When the man catches up and joins her, and then he begins to lead the process, that's what God wants. But we got to get there. So the woman's going to have to. And usually, at least in my experience, she's much more unhappy earlier than the guy is. She realizes what she's missing. He's never been intimate with anybody. He doesn't quite get it. He will in time, but she knows what she's missing. So the time to act is always right now to fix things.
Yes, and as I mentioned earlier, we're talking about Doctor's book. We're going to put the website up. You can get it all from there, but he's on here once a month. Actually, it'd take a couple years to go through. This is one rich book.
There's a lot in there.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
The principles in it could save your marriage.
I think I've seen it happen
really
hundreds of times. I don't write a book until God shows me this works with the scores of couples, and I know, okay, I think this is something I can write about.
Okay, you're very good at really breaking things down. Excellent writer here. Okay, you've got troubled marriages in these particular categories, and there are 7 of them, so we'll see how many we can hit.
Okay.
Number 1, unhappy but not willing to work on it.
Yeah, not too good. Or it's unhappy, but we're willing to work on it, right? I think we're. Yeah,
maybe I did a typo. That makes more
did.
sense the way you said.
Well, it's my book.
My boo-boo, my boo-boo.
Yeah, we're not happy, but emphasis being on we're willing to work on it. Well, okay, that's the best scenario. You're honest about it. We're not doing well, but you know what? We're together on this. Let's get some help.
I got the word "not" in the wrong place.
I think maybe you did.
But willing to work on it. Okay,
Yeah.
That's number 1. Number 2, we're okay. In other words, fair to mediocre.
You're right. That, and you're not going to stay okay for long. If you're okay now and you both would say, yeah, we're okay, you never stay there. It's going to get worse because we're going to pull, a little bit apart every day. God didn't design us for okay. So yeah, you're going to slide to we're not doing okay. So if you're okay now, you need to start taking steps.
You won't stay okay. It's going to
Right.
move along.
Yeah.
Okay, then number 3 is we're not okay. They know that.
Right. Now it's a different level. As long as couples are honest about that, it's okay. But we have to say, look, yeah, we're not happy. We're in trouble here.
Okay, a couple comes to you and says, oh, we're not okay. What do you do to find out what's the problem?
I just have them talk. They each share their point of view initially. Tell me what's bothering you. And then I'm looking for, and I always ask, how did you meet? How did things develop? That's why I know this progression, because it's always the same. We met, we fell in love, we had a kid or two, these things are happening, and they both are talking about what's making them unhappy. The guy will say, we're not having sex very often, okay? And of course, there's good reasons for that. And the woman begins to talk about not being close, not spending time, he's not helping with the chores. So I get a good picture of what's broken down. And I say, of course, I always say to every couple I ever see, I don't care how bad it is, with God's help and hard work, we're going to turn this whole thing around. Save this marriage, and it's going to be great. But we have hard work to do. So
they know coming in, or at least shortly after they've been there, that you're going to work totally with biblical principles.
Right.
Although they don't always work anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, they don't like that, they don't have to come back, because I can't do it any other way. People usually want that though, and they're desperate. I had a couple the other day that came in. This was also a couple weeks ago, and they weren't sure who I was. It was a referral from I think a Christian who knew me or heard me speak. Anyway, they come in and they were looking for divorce counseling. They were not wanting to save their marriage. I said, I don't do that.
What's divorce counseling? If you've made up your mind.
Well, I know. For the sake of the kids.
Oh, I see.
You know, we want to buffer this, and we're getting divorced. Don't kid yourself. But we're trying to at least ease the transition for the kids. I said, you know what? It's going to devastate your kids. I hate to tell you that, and I don't do that kind of work. I'm sitting here thinking we can save this marriage. They both looked a little shocked. I'm turning away a case. I said, you know what? I gave them.
So did they move on?
They moved on. I said, look, I've got someone that can see you. It's someone I know professionally. He's a Christian, and he takes the approach of, okay, I'm still trying to save the marriage. They don't know it, but I'm going to work them through these series of steps for the sake of the kids and to get along. I can't do that. I'm too transparent for that. But at least I gave them the message. Of course, you can save this marriage. Mm-hmm. We're sitting here in my office. I've done this for 31 years. No interest.
So you tell them, okay, devastate the kids, probably wipe you out financially. And
yeah.
You'll see your kids on weekends.
Yeah, but they both were sold out to the culture as well. It's just not working, so we have to get out. We're still fairly young, early 40s. We can find new partners. Yeah, but that's going to be a major hassle. It's going to complicate your life like you can't even believe. If you had a Mercedes or some really fancy car and there was something wrong with it, you just push it over a cliff without even seeing what's wrong with it? That's what they were doing.
I'll never forget seeing Beth Moore on TV one time with her husband.
I've never seen her husband.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they had trouble in the past, many years ago. And they said they came to the conclusion that if they married someone else, they'd hit that bump in the road and have trouble there, so they might as well. And isn't that pretty predictable?
It is. It's exactly right. I've told people that. You're going to find these same problems 6, 7, 8 years down the road, if not sooner. People don't believe it, though. Mm-hmm. I think and they want that rush. In many cases, they've already found someone else, and they're in love, and it's going to be just perfect. This is my soulmate. No, the one sitting next to you on the couch you're married to now is your soulmate. I'm telling you. Well,
yeah.
You try.
They're in for a few surprises. If you just tuned in, I'm talking to Dr. David Clarke, a Christian psychologist. We're talking about his book, I Don't Want a Divorce. The website's on the screen, but I would like to say this. If any pastors or church leaders are watching, you really would like to have this guy in your church. And he does this on weekends. I think you have several different kinds of ways you can work. I mean, one time or a whole Saturday or something. Yeah. But boy, he is so solid biblically, and also could really change the marriages in your church. And I just wanted to throw that in, okay?
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay, so far, these are the categories we've already taken care of. Unhappy but willing to work on it. We're okay, that's fair to mediocre, or we're not okay. Number 4, we're miserable.
Yeah, okay, now we're getting down to it. We are not just okay, we are not okay, we are miserable, very unhappy. Okay, now we're going to go from there. Culture says get out. Satan says get out.
Be happy. You have to make me happy.
Right.
Yeah.
And this isn't worth the time and effort it would take to maybe get it right. And of course, the other message is that you can't ever get it right. It will never be the same. It's a big fat lie. Mm-hmm. Of course you can. And through the process, you can build a great marriage. But at least if they say they're miserable, that's okay, as long as they'll work on it. If I get one person that will work on it, one spouse, that's enough. I prefer 2, but I can work with 1.
Yeah, and I would guess that maybe 80% of the people who come to you alone are the women.
Yep.
Do you have guys come in? Few here?
I do, and that's when you know it's really, really bad.
Yeah.
When a guy calls and comes in, he's done something terrible, or his woman's had enough and she's done.
Yeah.
And when a woman is done, you're in real trouble. Much worse than a guy being done, frankly.
Yeah.
Women are just, when they shut off, it's tough.
Don't mess with us.
Don't even fool with these ladies.
But to the guys who come to you, I say kudos.
Me too, and I honor
God bless you.
Not easy to do.
Yeah.
And I've had a number of those cases that they do the right thing and they stay the course, they can win her heart back. Mm-hmm. It is worth the effort. Mm-hmm. Don't do 2 weeks and then quit on it. You have to go all the way till the judge says you're divorced, and then even after that, keep going. Mm-hmm. Maybe you'll get her back.
And what have you got to lose?
Right. Mm-hmm. And before God, you want to be able to say, I did my best. I think that's important. Mm-hmm. I stayed the course. I did the best I could.
Okay, here's number 5. It's all about the kids. We talked about that a little bit last time.
Yeah, we covered that. Boy, I see that over and over again. I see couple after couple that it's all about the baby or the other child, 2, 3 kids, even one can do it. And then as they get older, all their activities, they're over-activitied. We got yoga, we got ballet, we got music, we've got dancing. Oh, stop it. There's no time at home.
And we got football.
Oh, you can't forget football.
I heard a pastor one day really kind of going after the parents being out of church for sports.
Oh,
He said,
yeah.
you're sacrificing your kids being in youth group and all this. And he said, your kid's never going to play in the NFL.
Yeah, really, let me tell you. And they can get hurt.
But I digress a little. I am so thankful that I grew up in what I call church life, Sunday school, VBS, children's church.
Great stuff. Yeah.
Youth services. I mean, it put the word of God in me that nobody can take away.
Yeah, and we don't see that anymore.
No.
Stripped down.
One time on Sunday morning?
That's it.
Yeah.
You can't expect people to go to anything else, which is like a total cop-out. Would 1 more hour kill you? Learning in a classroom setting where you're learning and meeting people, learning about the Bible? No, we can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Too hard, too tough.
I say give your kids church life
Yeah.
and VBS. They get a spiritual jump start in VBS.
They do.
They're there
all of
4 or
our
5
kids
days
were
a
in
week
there.
just pounding the word of God.
Oh, yeah. We had a church for years that had a great youth ministry. It was a man and his wife, Jib and Robin Downing, wonderful people. They didn't get paid a dime for it. They had other jobs. But they loved on our kids and did a spectacular job. Oh, man, it meant the world to us.
How do you say thanks? You know,
I know, they were just wonderful.
You can't put a price on that. Okay, number 6, my spouse won't change.
Yeah.
Oh, ye of little faith. That's what I said.
Well, I'm telling you, you know what? Let's just see. I want to change the marriage, but yeah, my husband or wife, yeah, they're not interested. They won't read a book. They won't go to a seminar. They won't see a counselor. You know what? There's a whole track in the book for that person. And if you make the changes, it'll affect your spouse. Don't quit just because they don't want to try.
Try to realize what is at stake. Human lives are at stake if you have children.
Yeah. Oh, it's enormous. God considers marriage at the top of the food chain. Absolutely does. The very picture of his Christ's relationship with the church. That's sacred. Don't fool with it. Work to save it.
Yeah. Okay. Pardon me. The 7th one. My spouse has sinned big time in the marriage. That's a tough one, isn't it?
That's a tough one. We've got an affair. We've got sexual sin of some kind, pornography, epidemic levels. I've seen couples where there's been financial irresponsibility, gambling. Hate the Hard Rock. Hate it. Bad place. Anyway, but they've wasted money, or there's been ongoing verbal abuse, or some terrible thing has happened, drug, alcohol. And that's where we have to start. We have to heal from that trauma, and the sinner has to repent. We heal from it, and then we can build a new marriage. But that's an absolute full-blown crisis.
I'm sure, though, that in your long practice, you've had a few of those.
Many.
Many?
Oh, yeah. And one of my specialties is infidelity. It's what I do a lot of. And I've got a whole process for that. It's in the book, too, in this book, 3 chapters on that alone, and how to get through that and have your marriage restored and be better than it ever was.
I don't doubt it, because the Bible says with God, all things are possible.
Right. He can do it. Got to work at it. I'll tell couples, you can't see this from where you're sitting. You're devastated. It's over. And I say your first marriage is over, no question. Stick a fork in it, bury it out back, it's gone. But we're going to build something new with God's help, and we'll get there.
I would imagine that a lot of couples who've heard you say that it can be done, was the first little glimpse of hope they'd had in a long, long time.
Exactly right. And I bring 100% confidence, because I'm with you. I know what God can do. I've seen it enough times. Without him, I wouldn't even attempt it. And they don't know Jesus. They have to know Jesus like right away
Yeah.
to get through.
Well, but it is possible, and we're out of time, but he'll be back next month, and we will continue. Boy, this is good stuff.
It's fun, too.
It
I'm enjoying
really is good, yeah. So stay with us. I have a couple of things to say before we have to say goodbye.
Arthelene would like you to keep the following information handy. You may contact Homekeepers by writing to Homekeepers, P.O. Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758, or go to www.rippy.org. Remember, we always enjoy hearing from our viewers, and we thank you for your support.
Okay, let me again show you what we're offering you today. We call it the Love Bracelet. You can see on the screen it's got the word love rather bold, but the rest of it says patience and love, that love is always patient, love is always kind. 1-800-229-0059 if you use a credit or debit card. The address, Homekeepers, Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida, 33758 if you want to write for it. This will probably be the last time I'll offer it, so if you want one, be a good idea to get your order in now. I think I said at the top of the show, I feel so fortunate that we have this wonderful doctor of psychology counselor on this program every month. And something as simple, and yet none of us would know it, those 5 progressive steps to a divorce. I just sense that there are people who watch that today, and you know if you're 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. But the good news is that he offered hope on every single level. People live together without a commitment, without divorce, without marriage. It's a disgrace. They bring children into the world where the mother and father are very unstable because for some reason or other they don't want to make the commitment to get married. And all of this is playing havoc with our society. When you decide to not do it God's way, you're in for trouble. Because you see, I'm talking to people right now, you made that covenant when you got married. You stood there in front of a minister and you said, I promise that I'll love, honor, and cherish you as long as we both shall live. God heard your vow. He keeps his vows to us, and the expectation is that we keep them to him. I hope that what you heard from Dr. Clarke today will just cause you to just kind of pull back and think about that marriage relationship, and let's move it up closer, you know, to that number 1 spot of priority. That's where it gets lost. It gets lost, you know, when the children come and we're working 2 jobs, we're doing this, but it's time to sit down and think, where on this list of priorities is my marriage? That would be a good place to start. And we are out of time, but I hope you'll think about the things he said today. Very, very powerful. But until I see you again, there's no higher calling than that of a homekeeper. God bless you.
If you should miss a Homekeepers program, you can catch up by going to www.ctnonline.com. Click on CTN Programs and then on Homekeepers.